bear's eyes are still glowing red. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. Something close to you dies with...
Why did you do that?
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. It's all gone now. You'll never become a... What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat? You slip your fingers under the frozen lid. But no, this is going to need something else. So if you want to try again, this orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. Only the red cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the black... Somewhere, a machine hums along with the current. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quiet. The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melts. Only the black somewhere in the... An old call box with a matrix of East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area. Silence. No one answers your call. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident. You hear static from the intercom speaker. You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electrics. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
It's you. My God.
It's a woman. And she knows you. Who cares that you don't remember her? No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Michelle, just please.
Sounds like a ghost. Wind blows through your clothes and you feel detached from your surroundings.
Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different.
A spot of static over.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally forget.
The cold is deep under your skin, as if you were talking to someone who's 100 years away. Somewhere inside the building, water is flooding the cellar floor. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box is silence. No one answers the call. You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks up the receiver anymore. You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks up the receiver anymore. An old East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the... Whatever she says, it can't hurt you. All right, maybe not healthier, but it's a... There's a light buzz as you press the... There's the static. Whisper.
Yes, hello. This is Tyson Penny Electric. Have you come to place an order? My God.
Here come the bad vibes again. Relax. Distance yourself from it.
It's you. My God.
Wait. Is she...
Michelle, why did you even call?
Is this some kind of joke? The voice from the intercom doesn't answer, but you can hear her breathing. Wind blows into your microphone again, crackling and echoing in the box.
Ever since I came to work, as if my mind's been wiped clean. It's so nice.
And then it hits you. She tries again not to cry, and still doesn't succeed completely. Her quiet sobs sound old and distant, as if her voice is being played off. Her sound melts into the static. This is where you hung up the call the last time. A phone rings in the office with an old-fashioned chime, and no one replies. But the static grows stronger, like rainfall. Her words are too cold to comprehend. She smells of sodium.
So, it was a recording trapped in the circuitry from some ancient tenant. This sometimes happens. Shall we conclude here? We have other mysteries to solve. I don't have time to explain it to you right now. Maybe sometime later. Don't take this the wrong way, but during our short stint working together, something...
That is true.
Hi, Ace Detective.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting. Yes, yes.
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
I knew it. But what else did you find?
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers.
Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
You're right. The rooms do look like they're connected. But
It's dark. The echo is...
what are you doing? Wait, really?
It feels safe to know that the lieutenant's got your back, now and always. It's dark. The echo is...
What are you doing? Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius. So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in... I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need.
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set. Take a look around and...
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like... This person means you or no one else. Absolutely no falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedron, not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people. Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. I think I have just the right one for you.
Police colors.
Not the most original, I know. But sometimes, here, catch. They're a gift.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. You overthink it. Your hands can't agree what to do and the two dice drop to the floor and scatter in opposite directions, like pearls from a broken string. The blue one disappears down the pit in the center of the room.
Ah, down the drain, like your career. I apologize, officer. That comment was unnecessary. That one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay. It's a shame. They might have brought you luck. You definitely...
Is she pitying you?
Now, was there anything else? Nothing really.
Who cares about the dead body? The lieutenant looks at his notebook. Then, the woman under the large...
Your window looks direct.
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And late...
She's heard of the murder.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's an odd profession. Making dice for people. But I like it.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her a
Creative.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energy spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex. You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me. I've been here for...
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Exactly, but I'm glad we got...
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been... Plaisance is not going to like... The bookstore closes starting 2100. You'll have to do that tomorrow.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad. It's not about the haircut, it's about the confidence.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community, a kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh, you mean the kid with the sailors? I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an...
What's the snuff?
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good...
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that. As if it's just, what does she mean? To get...
Don't worry, the ACP has a separate division that deals...
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist?
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals.
Even you can probably do better than that.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came. The atelier produced a certain collect, and you know how all kinds of... And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in Kyton from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Actually, insects do have brains.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the...
Anything else? They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hash, the usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans.
Men like that are a curse.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized. I have no idea why.
They were just the props. Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait. Forget it. It would take
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch.
That's understandable. Fantasy.
They certainly took their work the usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get... Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some...
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
Yes, but when the money started to... In the end, they just didn't get it done.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Not the wisest decision.
The result is 1. The dice is black and filled.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revershow ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by 2 guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them and by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored mind.
Sounds like she really didn't look. Fritta does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girls, and they already had the bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guard. Eventually, Ravishell ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. Maybe. He said that the bear was his vision bee.
Sounds cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast by telling you to do.
Maybe this wise and noble beast can guide you toward those amphetamines you've been craving.
I don't, officer. Anyway, now.
The temperature has dropped in the cover of...
Anything else? Another failed business? Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including...
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
Right, it used to be a gaming arcade. My advice, don't base your business on...
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
It can't be true. They don't work here. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore. Tricentennial Electric? It used to be a major...
No, it was something else. It was too real to be just a... Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. You could say so. Both...
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part...
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work. Sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
Call the Mama Dakwa. It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore. Your very skin has become an organ of hearing. Looking for a whisper light and low. A god who's very, very silent. Nothing escapes you. thick layer of coal dust covers the... This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk draw. No reply.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets, and his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again? Beautiful. I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you, and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
Wait. Suddenly you are digging things?
He takes another drag. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard. He's going to leave you alone again. Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again. He's right. Only losers go to bed early. A man on high heels stumbles out of a basement club. Music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly. Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as and he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
Who knows, detective? It's a mystery. Different, of course. His shirt. His shirt.
He's trying to dive deep into the mystery.
His shirt. No, I don't know. Wait.
He's barely holding it together.
Come on, detective. Let's go.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The magnesium levels in your blood are dangerously low. It's about the low magnesium levels and not the high alcohol levels. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish. Maggot sideways? What are you talking about? You need to maggot up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already, and the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium. Yes, if you want to live, you need just remember, it's not the alcohol. Buy more of, and it's certainly not the dextroamphetamine, nor smoking for 40.
Officers of the Reverchal Citizens Militia.
His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
My name is Charles Villedron. I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stability on assignment from Seul. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I'm here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about...
No, first ask an innocuous personal question to get the interview off on the right foot.
I got it from the head of the Samoan delegation on my trip to Lomanthang. It's made from a special charcoal-colored bamboo. It's an emblem of the formal normalization of our diplomatic relations. That's really all I can tell you.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
Easy, detective. No need to jump to conclusions.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a...
What do you mean, like in a play? Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Interesting.
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were you able to see anything from... But we are fairly certain the lady driver was present. About what time was all? It seems this wasn't a break. I think we have everything we need. Thank you.
Wait, there isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Or maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the moral intern
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread. Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious. Me?
You've managed to catch the lieutenant off guard.
I'm a lieutenant of the RCM.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for... Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sir Leclerc's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes. God, yes, sweet standardization, the backbone of rationality and commerce. As though you weren't envious. The baby is crying. That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young...
Was there anything else?
In your hands, you hold 16 days. Indeed, the book is unusually heavy, and it would do that in Grad. You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realized. Real art is dense and difficult. If it didn't feel like you had... The back cover is dominated by a black and white photograph of... She can't be much older than her mid-30s in this photograph.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come up. Now, more lessons in basic reality. Nothing more.
Yes, we are the Revachels. We are.
Yes, that means the RCM.
All three are good to know when we are out policing.
There's nothing yet. On the post-Rev... They called it...
But some Revacholians get...
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, and if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well...
What is all of...
What world?
The camera of her mind glides over the surface.
Great bodies... There is a term of... Elysium. It does. A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Petra. Oh, you... Great things are... We used to think it was a...
O-R-G.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of image. Yes.
A cold fear seeps into you.
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter, sir. I am sorry, but this is one of the greatest questions of our time. You have missed... It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very... See?
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever. The lieutenant observes you both, silently.
The pail is not.
Yes, also...
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else. I don't think... Let's continue with something else, all right?
You could sneak back, later, when the lieutenant is not here. unless you can convince him to step aside. Good idea.
Fine.
See?
Are you sure? Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, an oceanic Isla, achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
That's right. The negation of being. No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer. An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor, marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. The most disco thing you will ever see. Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves, but it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without... It's difficult to describe, or even measure. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Extensively. Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others that Pale somehow consists of past information. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of... It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It's more for her. Way more.
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a...
Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well.
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job.
You should ask the Pale driver about this. That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Up to my gills, officer. Entreponetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6th. There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical... Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed... Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or... In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is math. What do you think, Detective? Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, I suggest you do the same. Yes. Is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale? You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then... I hope so. You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one...
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now? But I did. Anyway.
Damn it, you're a grown man, the lieutenant thinks. Shouldn't have gotten protective air.
Good luck, Detective.
Magnesium-based life form. We tell them, hell no. You're about to become a magnesium-based life form. The age of the primitive carbon man is done. No longer must mankind rely on slow-working background radiation to take us further into our genetic destiny. This is the era of guided evolution, and magnesium is the key. You are the first of your species, the next step in human evolution. An advanced magnesium proto-man who mags it up, drinks it down, and sniffs it sideways. A lorry stuck in... The woman is still hunched over the radio.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? Of course not.
A boyadero, boya for short, is a cowherder from upstream Marguerite, the great steppes of northern Mesque. People like Mañana at the gates have turned it into an ideology of sorts.
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring boyadero. He promised, of course not. The boyadero returns from the western plain, a changed man.
In the background, you can hear the orchestra swell as the screen fills with the maiden's imploring eye.
So the boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the maggot. Then you have to understand. A true boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man, and what is that?
Great. He asked the Pines rep about the bail, and now he's talking to every... Fine then.
It's death, but for the universe, oh, we're contemplating the living shit out of this.
Exactly what I didn't want you to do.
No offense, but your partner seems like a...
Republica, a filterless cigarette from Mesk.
Neither is spelled transportation. Life is transitory. Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Pergunte a Poeira. The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips, the look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest, my hand in my father's hand. Heroic doses, Harifa. Heroic. Thought insertion? Dithering? The Grat Catala Magistral? It's more than dangerous. When you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea. And what are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become like looking into the ocean at night. You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, gray, and orange.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself.
In the belly of an airship, behind the stair windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it. No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays.
The wheels all small and round. Multi-axle trailers.
Yes. They say there is a point, one that I have not crossed. In the Pale, super deep. If you stray too far, of course, it's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant. Maybe you've been down the motorway south. It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Harife, not Pale Driver, and dark. And the process begins. No one knows what's at the end. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child. A child rowing on the lake. Josiane.
There is nothing more to do now. She is receding in the clutches of some indiscreet...
You've fried both your brains enough for today, Didi. Let's get some air.
Can I help you? Got the 20 real?
The breath catches in his chest. The light in his...
Too bad. But you know what? You're in luck, because you don't have to ever pay me again. Not at all, officer. It's true. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to give me any money at all. If you want a room, yes, you'll need to pay me, but you don't have to just give me money. Giving me money for a room is your choice. You want a free place to sleep? Fine. You've already unlocked your new room. The trash container outside.
The lieutenant is painful. A new dimension of reality will open. A portal is not clear. All that is known is sleep in the trash, and there is no coming back. He looks you in the eye. There is...
I don't make the rules. Now, is there anything you wanted?
The trash container. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Good night, detective.
The smell of rotten food rises up at you